Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm Jeanette. Today I wanted to show you how I take my product pictures, how I set up my little photography studio, if you will, in my home, and then show you some of the backdrops that I use and also give you a suggestion on how to make your own backdrops that are budget friendly. I hope you're sitting down because this is super fancy. Ta-da! This is not fancy at all. Let me show you how I set this up. I have my photography area set up in my dining room. The reason for that is I have this nice big window here with all this natural light that comes in, and it's really the ideal spot to take pictures. And today, because it is overcast outside, that's actually the perfect time to take pictures, because when it's bright and sunny, that bright sunlight creates a lot of unwanted shadows. So an overcast day is really a great time to take pictures, which is why I'm going to do this today. I'll tell you what all this stuff is here, but let's just start right here. On my dining room table, I stacked up a couple of crates, and I actually got these for free at our local wine store. They were just going to throw them out, so I took them. And sometimes I use these to create height. I can show you these like that. Sometimes I use them to create height on my craft tables at craft shows, but I just stacked them up here just to bring my my studio, if you will, up closer to eye level so I don't have to stoop so far. We're going to talk in just a minute about the different surfaces I have here, but these panels here are just taped together, and they are white foam board I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm not a professional photographer by any means. I had to learn a little bit about how to take halfway decent pictures with my iPhone, because a couple years ago my dad and I published a cookbook and I did all the photography for that. So I wanted to learn a little bit about how to take the best pictures I could. So I use white foam board to bounce light back onto my surface. I also have black foam board, same thing, I just taped them together to create these two panels, and that creates a different look altogether. It will bounce shadows differently and change the lighting of the scene. So let me show you what this looks like if I take it away. Okay, so that is how things look. So you can notice the shadows and stuff here. And then if I put it back, it looks a lot different. It softens things a little bit. And then another thing I consider are props. Sometimes I don't use anything and I just take a nice, simple, clean picture. But other times I like to bring in things to do different heights, you know, create that kind of dimension, or maybe drape a towel or put a bath accessory there, or sprinkle some of the ingredients around just to give it some added visual appeal. So for example, I got these sushi boards at Wegmans, like something like that. That can create a little bit of height and some visual interest. I've got these little battery operated candles, you know, for like my spa items. I found this ceramic clawfoot tub on Amazon, I think. I think it might be a soap dish actually, but you know, sometimes I use that in my bath and body scenes. You know, and I picked up little things here and there. This is a soap dish I found at Target. This is always nice because, you know, stuff looks really nice in a picture on that. I had a lavender plant, so I took some of my lavender and dried it and tied it with some twine, and sometimes I'll just lay that in the scene. You know, you just have to kind of play around with things. You know, I've got different kinds of soap dishes here. This is actually a toothbrush holder that I found at Target, but it's got such a cool pattern on it that sometimes I'll use that to create height instead of something else. So it's just a matter of finding little odds and ends and playing around with it. So for example, today I need to take pictures of my botanical foot soak and my oat and coconut foot soak. So these are jars that I haven't shrink wrapped yet, just because I didn't want the glare of the shrink wrap to be on here. So I just left it not shrink wrapped yet, but these are ones that I'm going to end up selling. So I don't want to open these and use them for props, if you will. That's why I have a couple of older jars here that I'm just going to end up using myself, but we're going to take some of this stuff and sprinkle it around, and I'll take a picture and show you what it looks like. right, I'm down in my workshop. Let me show you some of the other surfaces that I have. And the only reason I invested so much money in these is because I was doing the cookbook and I needed it to look as professional as possible. But I have quite a few of these surfaces. This is like a darker grained wood. Now the surfaces themselves are just this plastic material, very easy to clean. But when you take a picture on these, they look real. And then I have some other ones that are seasonal. So this looks like you're looking through a window at autumn leaves. So in the fall, this is when I put this on the back part of my scene, and I'll have a different surface on the bottom. I'll show you how these hook together. Here's one of my winter scenes. So it looks like you're looking down a snowy road in the middle of a forest. And so this would be my backdrop, and then I would have another panel on the bottom in front of it. So those are some of the ones I have from replica surfaces. I do have some from Ink and Elm. I found them on Etsy, which I'll show you. And there was one more company I forgot to mention. Oh, I don't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up, and if their shop is still open, I'll link it in the description box below. They were also on Etsy. Now the ones I got off of Etsy, they're vinyl, so they're not going to click together. They're not hard surfaces like the other ones I showed you, but they're beautiful. You just roll them out and you put them on your table. Like this one is a beautiful, you know, wood pattern. Then I've got all different kinds of wood grain. I have different colored countertops. There's more wood grain, another beautiful countertop. So as you can see, I have lots of backdrops. Now with these hard surfaces from Replica, they come with these little brackets that you can place on the boards, and then you can slide them together. So you can create a backdrop and an underlay for your scene. Kind of just pop in like that, and then you have your scene. As you can see, I went crazy on backdrops, and that's because I was taking pictures for my cookbook a few years ago. If it was just to do my bath and body products and my candles, I would not have bought that many. I might have invested in like 2 or 3 really good ones to make things stand out, but not that many. And if you're just starting out especially, or you have you know, a limited budget for this stuff, there is a way that you can make some backdrops yourself, which I've also done. So you just can get a piece of that foam board, again from the dollar store, and put peel and stick wallpaper on it. This is one that I got from Amazon. Here it is. It just, you know, it came on a roll, like, you know, it was much bigger than this. I cut it to size. But, you know, you cut it out and you carefully lay it out, and be aware, foam board is paper and this stuff is adhesive, so if you mess it up, it's really hard to take it off without ripping the foam board. So you might want to get a few pieces of foam board, because you might make a mistake, you know, the first couple times you try it. But just try to lay it on there as good as you can, you know, and cut it to size. And especially something like this, it looks like, you know, wood paneling. It's easier to get your seams to blend in. Like here's a seam right here, and you wouldn't know it unless you felt for it. So the wood grain is a great option for you, and this one's kind of blue tinted, which I really liked. And you can get a little bit more decorative if you want. This, again, peel and stick wallpaper I got from Amazon, comes on a roll, and you know, you can do something like this. Then the dollar store, I noticed, carries pieces of it that are this big. And so, you know, you could just take a few, and you'd probably have to cut them to size, but stick them to your foam board, you know, and then you can make your own backdrops. And then I just wanted to show you this. This is the cookbook that my dad and I published. And here's one of the pictures in here. This is the granola. And I think this is just one of the vinyl backdrops that I had that I laid down on the table. And this is just a piece of black foam board in the background. And I usually do like a portrait type of picture, so the item right where I want to focus is clear, and then it kind of blurs out the stuff in the background. It gives it a nice effect, you know, and I just kind of arrange things around it to make it look kind of nice. So there's some food that's in the recipe sprinkled around. There's the container of granola here. Here's the actual bowl. So when it comes to taking my product photos, I prefer to just keep things simple. I love looking at all the beautiful pictures on social media and in magazines, all the professionally done stuff. I mean, really beautiful to look at. I don't have all that equipment to do that, or the special lighting effects, or a fancy camera or anything. I just shoot with my iPhone and I do the best I can, and I prefer to just keep it simple. I show my customer a clear photo of what it is that I have, but instead of just taking a picture of a jar, I'll open the jar and show people what's in it. Or like you saw me do today, I'll take what's in the jar and sprinkle it around so you can see the contents of it. Or if it's a candle, I'll show the candle unlit and the candle lit in like an actual place in my home where it would create like a cozy atmosphere. Or a wickless candle under the candle warmer lamp. You know, I take that picture in the evening time when you can just see the glow of the candle lamp. Soaps, I'll take a picture of the soap, but then I'll take a bar and lather it up so it's got all this lovely lather all over it, and then I place it in a soap dish and I take a picture of it. So I try to do a little bit of like an action type shot or something to show you how the product looks or functions. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you found this one helpful and interesting. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you have any ideas on how to stylize products or how to take better photos, because I'm always interested in learning about that. And also, if you don't mind doing me a favor, please like, subscribe, and share this video because it definitely helps out the channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.